I probably should seek counseling.
DT the kid.
Probably so.
Beat those drums.
When I was in the 4th grade, mama moved in with Mike. And Mike was like the worst stepdaddy ever in life. And mama let Mike whoop us whenever he like. So me and Rick got our ass whooped like every night. Like, go rake the leaves or get beat. Bring home a seat and get beat. If that's what's at home for me, I'd rather be in the streets. That nigga ain't have a job. He sold socks and CDs. On top of that, he made me and Rick go work for him for free. If you from Memphis and bought a t-shirt that said stop the killing, then fuck you. I was the 10-year-old that had to print them. After school every day, not even minimum wage. Lucky us, the nigga paid us in bootleg tapes. Sit in my room, listen to Player Fly number 8. Nobody needs nobody. I feel that shit to this day. Thank you, Fly, for writing some bump that could take my pain away. Why we sliding? because even home base wasn't safe. By the time I was 12, home was a hellhole. We know we in trouble soon as this key turned in a deadbolt. Shotgun duplex, we know they can hear us next door. Screaming every night, but no one came to help though. Mama finally left Mike, I was probably like 14. Damage already done, can't soothe this pain with no morphine. You know that pain make you numb if you take enough. To this day, mama say me and Rick made it up. The 1207 nightmares kept waking me up. I'm never going back, so I'm building my paper up. And chasing paper come with problems too. But trust, all the beatings I've endured, I can take a few paper cuts. Fast forward, I'm going, nobody's as bad as me. Bitch, I'm a gorilla, not even Mike could beat that out of me. I still feel that pain, even after all these years. Shit, a therapist might not be a bad idea. Long live Bill. Therapist might not be a bad idea. I still feel that pain even after all this years. Shit, a therapist might not be a bad idea. Long live Bill. Long live Bill. Long live Bill.
DT the kid.
Beat those drums.
Lord, I forgive, but please don't let me forget. Mic check 1 2 1 2. You won't beef with the king. What is you gonna do? We back. It's another episode of Hood Tales with ConeHead coming to you live and direct. This is episode 123, and we have, another must listen. The reason why I say that is, I actually was looking at TV this morning and Good Times is on. So, I'm like, I ain't watched Good Times in a long time. Let me check this shit out, see what's going on, what they got going on. Now, mind you, they actually started off when James and Florida gone, you know what I'm saying? So it's just JJ, Michael, Velma, and Valona. And it's crazy that the episode that I end up watching when I decide to watch Good Times is the episode when Janet Jackson, aka Penny, is on TV. So I'm like, damn, how the fuck I turn on the TV and this episode is playing? So that's where this episode comes from, at 123. Have you ever been abused? And to all those who watched those episodes, and to those who might not ever seen the episode, what it is it's an episode on the show where Janet Jackson character is a little girl. She's like 10 years old, and something happened on the bus where, JJ ended up helping her out, and she got, got help and everything like that. And so she followed him home. And he was telling the story about the little girl that he helped out on the bus. So she came, introduced herself, and, she was like basically like obsessed with JJ throughout the whole time she's on the show. And so this little Janet Jackson, and then as the episodes go further into dialogue, you start realizing Penny got a Band-Aid across the forehead. She got, she said she fell or something shit like that. Then she leaves and goes. The episode show where she's in the house with her mom, and her mom is ironing some clothes. So anybody who watched the episode know what happened next. The mother get into a little, they don't show it because of the time and the era of that time. They didn't show that on TV. So, they cut away from the scene, and then the next thing you know, you see her again, she got a bandage on her arm. So, they was like, what happened? She fell against the stove. And the next thing you know, she changing into her costume. Now they see the bruises on her back. Then her mom shows up. And then she leaves with the abuser. And so the reason why I decided to talk about this topic today is because I had to see it from both sides of the spectrum instead of seeing it one way from what I've experienced. Because yes, I've been abused. Yes, I was in an abusive foster home. I probably talked about it on other episodes. So, and it formulated my opinion about people based on the abuse. So sometimes I'm very trustworthy of people to be themselves, not to change them, not for them to try to change to fit me, or to win me over, win favoritism with me because you conform to what you think I want or like in a person. So I'm sitting there thinking about this shit because I was like, damn, that's crazy. And I almost got emotional. Well, not emotional like a wimpy emotional, but PTSD emotional. Because see, that's what we don't understand about people who've been through abuse and people who's been abused and people who's been abusers. We don't understand the PTSD from the shit. Because, the saying goes, hurt people. That's just the reality. But the crazy thing about all that shit is like, sitting there looking at the episode, understanding her position as the abusee. Because that happened to me. I didn't get burnt. I got burnt by hot water on accident being a badass little boy at 1 year old. And that's what made HRS step in and investigate my mother. And basically, I had a caseworker and everything like that. Then something happened with my brother where he almost drowned in the bathtub. She was giving him a bath. And then that kept them on her a majority of the time until she just decided to go ahead on and, give us to the state. And it's amazing how that episode happened back in the 70s, but it's prevalent in 2023 as far as my view of it is, because the crazy thing is her mama left her too. You know what I'm saying? Because of the shit she been through. Now, I was just talking to my mother yesterday, the boss lady, and I was telling her like, yeah, my biological mom's birthday is coming up the end of this month in November on the 30th. And the crazy thing is, I remember having a conversation with my mom, and she was basically talking to my biological mother, and my biological mother started laying down her rap about her coming up, growing up, this and that and the third, and was like, yeah, they kicked me out the house when I got pregnant with him. And I think she either got pregnant with me at 15 and had me at 16, or pregnant with me at 16 had me at 17, but whatever the case may be, it was like she basically, like, they don't do that now in this day and age where they shun you if you do shit like that. Now some religions do, but not you know what I'm saying, not like it used to be. When a young lady got pregnant at an early age, some families hid it, some families let her have a baby and gave the baby up for adoption. Different scenarios for different folks. So she was going on and on about, things that she experienced due to the fact that she got pregnant. And I guess some of that stuff led to some of the things she ended up becoming and doing in life. And what we have to understand about abuse, it's just the domino effect of what someone else went through in life, or what somebody witnessed happen to someone else in life. Because I witnessed abuse from a domestic violence standpoint, where a husband abused his wife, and turn around, the domino was the wife abused the foster kids, or the foster kids. That's what we would call foster kids. So she, being abused most of her marriage, turned to her abuse to physically abusing me and my little brother. And so while I'm watching this episode of Good Times, I'm seeing how the mother reacted when her and Valona got into an argument. She was so upset because she felt like her having Penny stopped her life and stopped her from having the life she wanted, because she got pregnant with her at like 15. And so the crazy thing is, it seems so similar to what my mother said to a boss lady, because it was almost like she was blaming me for her life being how it turned out, or her life in that era and time and how it ended up becoming. So the crazy thing is, to me, I was kind of confused. I'm like, well, how can she blame me for her opening her legs to my father, giving him some pussy, and then get pregnant in the process? That's the Russian roulette of the game when you sleep with someone without protection. So when I heard Penny's mom have that same dialect and dialogue and was saying that, she can't even keep a man because of Penny. And I remember when I was on the run and I needed my mama to beat up, and my mother's boyfriend was way more important than me being protected by my mother until my circumstance changed. And so what turned into supposed to be a safe haven for me, because I need you to be my mama right now, turned into an all-out war, because she ended up picking her boyfriend in her life over her son. Now, she didn't realize shit until them people started talking about life sentence. Then she come to the jail and visit. Now, by then, I'm upset and angry because you called the police and I got arrested because of that. So I'm sitting there looking crazy as fuck, because I'm like, well, why are you here? Like, you sat here and basically chose a man over your son who was in need, and I needed you to be my mom. I didn't need you to, do anything. I didn't ask you for no money. I didn't tell you, hey, I need this, that, and the third. I said, I just need to be here till the little situation unfolded for me, so I can actually haul ass and leave town. Because I wasn't gonna, in the beginning, stay and wait around for them people to come pick me up to look for me. I was just all that. Like, that was just what it was gonna be. So I was like, I didn't even give a fuck. I was like, man, I just need to be here for a couple weeks till my little bread come and I'm gone. So as I'm watching this episode, I'm just like, all that shit just seems so like familiar. And so the PTSD side of me started to kick in, and that's what made me think about myself being in that abuse and being in that abused mindset. And the first part of the healing process would be to forgive the abuser. Even if I don't see them, even if I never talk to them, it's to forgive the abuser. So those who've been abused, those who've been in abusive marriages, abusive relationships, whether it's a man or woman, because women can be abusive too. Don't get that shit twisted. Don't think because she's a female that she won't hit you in the head with a frying pan, or she won't stab you with a knife. I got war wounds and scars from that shit, where I done been cut with a knife. I got a gash on my arm to this day. I got cut in my face with a knife, almost an inch away from my eye, my eyeball, my pupil, all that shit. Like, I almost got, you know what I'm saying, blind in one eye. I was in a relationship where a woman used to punch me in my face and shit like that. So, you know, and I don't know about this trauma bond and shit people be talking about. I ain't never trauma bond with no motherfucking body. Because I ain't trauma bonded with nobody. Because your trauma ain't my trauma. That person was sexually abused. I was never sexually abused. So I can't bond with you. I can bond with you on abuse, but not sexual abuse. So I can't bond with you based on your trauma. I can understand your plight, but I can't bond with you. So I don't understand that trauma bond and shit, but that's what they say. That's a new psychological word now that they put out there in the air that people just catch on and latch on to shit and just think that it's popular. It's a popular saying. Oh, I'm trauma bonded. No, you went through your shit. They went through their shit. I ain't bonding with nobody because of being abused. Because everybody hasn't been abused. Everybody's childhood went like mine. Everybody's childhood went like my brother's on. Everybody's childhood went like my biological sister's on. And so on and so on. But my mother didn't raise none of her kids, and she had 5 of us. You know what I'm saying? So what people have to realize and understand, it's like I had to actually step into the mind of the abuser. Like Penny's mom went through all this traumatic shit because she was trying to get sympathy from somebody. She was trying to get empathy because of the simple fact she been through what she been through, and nobody gave a fuck or nobody cared enough to make that lady seem like she was loved and important and special. So she took out all the anger and the frustrations out on the closest person to her, which was her daughter. Because the man who helped father Penny he left. He left her. And so she was bruised and wounded from the fact that he abandoned her with that child. And she carried that child. And so she wanted to have a life. Because you have to understand, when women get pregnant at a young age, they still haven't experienced certain things that other young ladies get to experience. Like when we was in school, some of the finest chicks that went to school with me, that was in my grade and in my class, they got pregnant from older guys that was outside of school. And it was crazy to know, like, years later, they have kids that's like in their late 20s and early 30s, because I have to recall that when we was in high school or middle school, they got pregnant with their first child. So sometimes they try to relive their youth by wanting to party, by wanting to go clubbing, by wanting to hang out and experiment with shit, because they had to be a mother at 14, 15, depending on when they got pregnant. And that's a PTSD moment, because I remember when my oldest son, mama, we moved in together. That girl had a baby at 14, 15. That girl didn't get a chance to experience and enjoy life. She didn't go to prom. She didn't go to graduation. She had to go to alternative school for the pregnant girls, because guess what? If she was to come to the regular school, other girls would latch on to her about being a mother. So then that might influence other young girls to go out here, have sex, and get pregnant. And that's why they separated and had alternative schools, because they didn't want these girls being influenced by the young girls that got pregnant. You know what I'm saying? And so when it came to her PTSD, she didn't get to enjoy her youth because it was taken away because she was a child mother. So at the end of the day, it was things she didn't get to do that all of a sudden when she done had a baby or maybe two, now you done got to a certain age, now you want to try to relive that period that you missed because you was a mother instead of a teenager. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a form of abuse because your life changes once you have a child. And I'm not saying the child is the abuse. It's the fact that when they got pregnant, they didn't get a chance to experience things. So it abused their youth to the point where now they want to still relive it and do certain things and party and wow. And that's what me and her had to fall out. Because like, you a mom now. You can't worry about that shit. And this is what I was trying to explain to her. Like, young lady, you a mother of two now. Fuck that partying, fuck that drinking, fuck that wanting to smoke and all that shit. Man, let's structure this shit to be a family. She wasn't ready. She been molested when she was a little girl. She had all these issues. Her mom left her, like Penny mother left her. Her mother left her and moved out of state, got pregnant with another child, and raised that child in the home all the way up until an adult, graduation and all. She hate her mother because her mother wasn't in her life. Her grandmother and her father was. And that still didn't help curb that anger and that bitterness because of the fact that her mother didn't help raise her. Then she resented her sister due to the fact that I wasn't good enough for you to be here for me or my older sister, but she's good, she's better than us because you stayed and raised her all the way through. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what her mother experienced in her lifetime to give her the abuse to walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like, her mother was like, fuck that. I don't want the responsibility of neither one of them. Do you know how painful that could be as a child? How traumatic that can be? When you felt like your mother or your father didn't love you or didn't want nothing to do with you, not because of you, but because of they felt like their life would have been better or different because you wasn't here. It's like they bust a nut, she bust a nut, he bust a nut, create you, and now it's like you're not worthy of it because at the end of the day, it makes you feel like they didn't want you to be here or they don't want no part of your life because they just decide to walk away. Now, some circumstances are not like that. Some circumstances are actually like, it's beef between the both parents, and they can't get along. They can't stand each other. Eventually people get fed up and they say fuck it. Throw their hands up and say fuck it. I tried. Now, you being the child, you don't know if your father or your mother fought for you or anything. I had to find that out as a 30-something, almost a 40-year-old man. When my mother had to tell me, she never stopped thinking about her. She didn't have a dry pillow. She cried herself to sleep at night because I remember sitting on them courthouse steps and she had to tell me that she couldn't take care of us the way she wanted to. I'll never forget that. I probably was 2 years old. But I remember vaguely everything. She said, I'm not able to take care of y'all, but y'all gonna go with these people and they gonna send y'all, they gonna take y'all somewhere where y'all can be raised better than I could raise you. And I never forgot that. Tears running down her face. I'm crying, my brother crying, and we just sitting there and we don't know what to do. We holler, mommy, 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 and it's like she can't take us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never forgot that. I still remember that shit till this day. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, that's a abuse. You know what I'm saying? To feel like we wasn't good enough for her to raise. We wasn't good enough to be her kids. And when I got to that foster home, that lady put it in our head that we wasn't shit. We ain't gonna be shit. We'll never have shit. No one will ever love us. These are the things that was planted in my mind from 2 until 2.5, 3 years old until I got adopted permanently. So you have to forgive the abuser. Then you have to forgive yourself, because you are worth it. You're more than that. You know what I'm saying? You deserve the best. You deserve to have it all, because at the end of the day, God put us here for us to enjoy everything that He created on earth and gave man the ideas to create. So for that, you have to love you first, and you have to really believe that you're supposed to have the best. You're supposed to have the best life. You're supposed to have the best spouse and best partner that fits you. You know what I'm saying? Like, even me thinking about Antoine Fisher movie, like, the shit's so crazy, because I remember watching that movie for the first time and seeing him sexually abused, over and over by the older daughter, and the lady was abusive. But then you notice throughout that whole fucking movie, there was never a man in the home of those abusive women and predators. There was not one man walked through any of them doors in that movie. The only time you seen a male figure is when he left and went to the military, and he ended up being counseled by Denzel Washington. And that shit made me cry the first time I watched that shit, because he had so much anger. He had so much pent up fury and aggression, because guess what? He didn't have no other way to release that shit. I can relate to that. That's why I'm so violent like I am. That's why I'm quick to bust my gun. That's why I'm quick to stab a person. That's why I'm so quick to pick up something and hit you across your head with that shit. That's why I think the evil thoughts I think sometimes, when I sit back and just have time to myself and be like, if I just went and got my kit, put on that all black and them gloves and that mask, and just wait for a motherfucker who disrespect and cross the line with me, and I just take him and hit him in the back of the head with a hammer. The flat part of the hammer, not the pointy part. Smack the shit out the back of their ass, and their ass be blind for the rest of their life. A vegetable. Like, I had thoughts like that. Evil thoughts. I had wicked. That's why I be trying to tell people, leave me alone. If you don't come with good intentions or my best interests, leave me the fuck alone. Because I have deep, dark, sadistic thoughts. And that's why I do my best to try to stay away from people and that mean me no good, or try to stay away from people who try to do shit to fuck me over. Because I can sit there and think about all kind of shit I can do to you and get away with it. And no one would know I did it. But that's what I'm saying. I understand that dark place he used to go to. Because I was once him, not sexually abused, but physically, verbally, and mentally abused. And I don't know which one is worse. Well, all of them bad. Trust and tell me. Trust and believe. But see, they created a monster when they did that with me. And the funny thing about it, I don't trust people. I trust them to be themselves. But when it came to women, it was kind of crazy, because at the end of the day, I used to be so mean to women. Well, especially when I was little. When I was a little boy, I was mean as shit. The girls, I couldn't stand them. But I always wanted to kiss them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy. But that's just how it goes sometimes. But yeah, it's just crazy to me that at the end of the day, man, like, we have to forgive the abuser. And we have to sometimes step in the abuser's shoes. We don't know what these people went through before they came around, whether it's your mother, your father, whether it's, on a woman end, a boyfriend, a family member, marriage, whatever, and vice versa. We don't know what people been through in their lifetime to have them the way they are at times. When you see a side of them that you don't recognize, you have to sometimes take a step back. Don't accept the bullshit that they do or the things that they say. I try not to say benefit of the doubt, but step back and sometimes think, what happened to them to make them that way? Somebody did something to them. somebody did something to them to get them to that point. Either they saw somebody they love get hurt, or they got hurt by somebody they love, or even a complete stranger. And so that's why, have you ever been abused? It resonated for the message for the day, because I watched that episode. I watched all 3 of the episodes that came on, and I was just sitting there, that's crazy that I'm sitting here watching this shit, and then all of a sudden it's just the PTSD activated in me. The PTSD emotional side of it activated. So I'm sitting here like, damn, I'm about to tear up, because I'm looking at that shit, but I could feel everything that girl felt in that moment. How scared it was to be locked in that closet for hours, don't know what time it is, just locked in that bitch, and we just fall asleep in that motherfucker. And she couldn't get us out right before he come home. Now, the weird thing was, she never did this shit in front of him. He never abused us. He never beat us or no shit like that. He went to work, made the money, came home drunk from the bar, and beat on her. But he was never present. And that's why when I see the Antoine Fisher movie, I noticed it was never a male present when that shit was going on. It was always him and them women by themselves. Like, I just watched Jeezy and Nia Long interview, the little therapy session. And he said he was introduced to sex at an early age. A lady that was watching him while his mom worked started doing that. And that's how he got introduced to sex. Then he said he was playing with some kids that lived in the neighborhood, and they daddy shot their mama. You know what I'm saying? And he was in the house when that incident occurred. So he has a lot of PTSD. That's why he's so guarded, standoffish, defensive. Because usually when you've been through some shit like that, you're going to always be on a standoffish. Like, I'm very standoffish when the current search, especially if I don't know you. I sit back and be quiet and just observe your energy and your moves and what you say out your mouth before I really engage in a person. Sometimes I can feel your spirit, and then I be like, you know what, they all right. You know what I'm saying? So what we have to know and understand is, sometimes we have to take a step back and look at the person that hurt us. Who hurt them? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people are afraid to express themselves and be open about things of abuse, because they feel like that's a sign of weakness if you talk about it, or if you've been through that. I can't say I'm a weak person because I was a fucking 2-year-old child getting beat by a fucking 30, 40-some-year-old woman. I don't make me weak. That make me a innocent victim, because I didn't deserve to be beat by no 40-year-old woman who was abused by her husband. But see how that all go hand in hand? He abused her, she abused us. And that's how it happened. He talked to her abusive, she talked to us abusive. He mentally abused her, she mentally abused us. So that's why the narrative is crazy, because that person who hurt any of y'all who listen to my podcast, I pray that y'all heal. I pray that y'all forgive. And I pray that y'all let it go. Put it in God's hands. Even if you never see this person again in life. I never saw that lady after I was 12 years old. And I didn't give a fuck if I saw her. But I had to grow up and become a young man and realize, shit, I gotta forgive her, not for her, for me. So she can't have that power over me. I ran these streets like a fucking madman to prove a point to a person who didn't give a fuck about me. And that's what we do a lot of times in our lives. We try to put on airs and put on a show for people who don't give a fuck about what we say or do, or even respect what we have to say. And I did that shit in them streets because this lady told me I'd never be shit, I'd never have shit. No one will ever love me. No one will ever want me. And the crazy thing is, I'm more revered and admired and loved and valued and appreciated than that lady could ever know, whether she dead or alive. But I forgive you, Miss McCauley. I forgive you. I forgive you for all the things you said. I forgive you for all the things you done to me. I forgive you for what you done to my brother, who was younger than me at the time. Even though I never see this lady again in my life, I forgive her. Because that's closure for me to let go of that past and let go of that disappointment, that pain. When shit gets so overwhelming, I break down and cry and sob like the little boy that used to get beat every fucking day until I was almost 5 years old. So yes, I forgive you, Miss McCauley, for all the bad shit you said and all the seeds you try to plant in my head about me and about my future. I never fed into the shit, so I never watered the plant. I never watered the seeds. And I'm thanking God that I never did. Thank God for blessing me with my mother, boss lady, my father, the Rottweiler, the family. You know what I'm saying? God, I thank you for that. Because the man that is before you now could have been a whole different man if he didn't orchestrate and design what happened. Sometimes we don't understand the way God works, but he works in mysterious ways, like they always say. Trust and believe that he does. Because from an abusive home to the greatest parents that any man, woman, or child could ever want, I thank God that you let me go on that journey. Even though it was hurting, even though I cried, even though, I wanted to run away, I thank you for letting me hang in there all them times I went through that stuff. Because you was always there with me, that it didn't go no further than just that. And I thank you, God, for that. But those who listening to this episode, and those who even in relationships that's abusive, or with people who don't respect what you say, or don't appreciate or value your word, or value you, don't wake up in the morning saying that I can't see myself without you, or I can't live without you. There's nothing wrong with loving somebody like that. It's nothing wrong with appreciating somebody like that. It's nothing wrong with knowing that this person means everything to you. It's not nothing to be ashamed of. Society wants y'all to think that it's all about purses and heels and pussy and BBLs and niggas getting their dick sucked and bitches getting fucked from the back and getting their pussy ate. It's not about that shit, man. It's about finding somebody that you can't live without. Finding somebody that loves you all the way down to the corners on the fucking side of your fucking pinky toe. Like, that's the type of shit I'm talking about. But you can't find that if you don't heal. You'll never appreciate it, and it could be right there sitting in your fucking face, and you'll ignore it because of the hurt and the scars and the trauma you've been through that you never forgave these assholes for. You never forgave these fucking cocksuckers for. These worthless people, you never forgave them. No matter what, you holding on to that shit as a safety net to give excuses for why you treat people like you treat them. You destroy good people by holding and harboring old wounds and scars and scabs and cigarette burns from people before their time. And that's why relationships don't work nowadays. That's why people get divorced more now, because they're not looking at the whole sole purpose of, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. I want to grow old with you. I want you in my life. And if you're not there, I don't see no other way of living. And there's nothing wrong with loving somebody to the point you don't want to be here if they not with you. It's nothing wrong with that. But society in this day and age, in this generation, make you think something wrong with you. You crazy, or you weak, or you whoop. No, it's not. It's about true love is true love, and genuine is genuine. I'd rather have that genuine crazy shit than to sit here and have that fake shit that just to say I'm with someone. But if you've been abused, and my audience and my listeners, forgive them, for they know not what they do. This is Hood Tales of ConeHead, and I'm out.
Probably should seek counseling.
DT the kid.
Probably so.
Beat those drums.
When I was in the 4th grade, mama moved in with Mike. And Mike was like the worst stepdaddy ever in life. And mama let Mike whoop us whenever he like. So me and Rick got our ass whooped like every night. Like, go rake the leaves or get beat. Bring home a seat and get beat. If that's what's at home for me, I'd rather be in the streets. That nigga ain't have a job. He sold socks and CDs. On top of that, he made me and Rick go work for him for free. If you from Memphis and bought a t-shirt that said stop the killing, then fuck you. I was the 10-year-old that had to print them. After school every day, not even minimum wage. Lucky us, the nigga paid us in bootleg tapes. Sit in my room, listen to Player Fly number 8. Nobody needs nobody. I feel that shit to this day. Thank you, Fly, for writing some bump that could take my pain away. Why we sliding? Because even home base wasn't safe. By the time I was 12, home was a hellhole. We know we in trouble soon as this key turned in a deadbolt. Shotgun duplex, we know they couldn't hear us next door. Screaming every night, but no one came to help though. Mama finally left Mike, I was probably like 14. Damage already done, can't soothe this pain with no morphine. You know that pain make you numb if you take enough. To this day, mama say me and Rick made it up. The 1207 nightmares kept waking me up. I'm never going back, so I'm building my paper up. And chasing paper come with problems too. But trust, all the beatings I've endured, I can take a few paper cuts. Fast forward, I'm going, nobody's as bad as me. Bitch, I'm a gorilla, not even Mike could beat that out of me. I still feel that pain, even after all these years. Shit, a therapist might not be a bad idea. Long live Pill. Therapist might not be a bad idea. I still feel that pain even after all this years. Shit, a therapist might not be a bad idea. Long live Pill. Long live Pill. Long live Pill. Long live Pill.
DT the kid.
Beat those drums.